All right, surf fans, welcome back. This is the Surf City El Salvador Pro presented by Corona, and this is the update show. So we've got some breaking news here. We're going to go on a quick hold for about an hour or so. We're going to make the call at 10:45 to see if we continue on into the men's quarterfinals. Well, so far, it's been a pretty great morning of surfing. A lot of sets rolled through, but there was a brief pause in that last heat, as you saw, Felicity. So we made the call. Time out a little bit here, let the tide maybe fill in a little bit and see what happens. But we do have all the action to catch you up on in the morning. Felicity, in that last heat, was it pretty noticeable that it slowed down through the second half of it?
Yeah, I think it's a good call to go on hold. I mean, it was pretty evident. Things were getting really slow and there wasn't that much opportunity. Also, on that low tide, it's just sucking out so much water. There was a lot of, little rivets in the face of the wave. We saw that happen yesterday too. But then, yesterday, sort of similar situation, went on hold, and then all of a sudden, tide started to fill in, things started to get bueno.
Well, the good part about going on the first 2 days of the window is that now we have the luxury of really picking the eyeballs out of the appropriate times of the day. Mitchell, you think this is the time to go on hold and then wait for the tide to maybe fill in a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. We saw it yesterday afternoon, as Felicity was pointing out. I definitely feel like the late afternoon, if it stays glassy, we're probably going to be back on, especially when it comes to the quarterfinals. We have some big heats. And, starting off with the Gabe Joao heat, to me, that's potentially a make-or-break heat right there for Gabe. So understanding the circumstances of it, not opposed to going on hold right now, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we got plenty of time, all the time in the world. Well, let's check with the pulse of the event and talk about what's already transpired this morning here at Punta Roca. And we're going to start off with quarterfinal number 1, rise and shine time. It was Caitlin Simmers versus Tatiana Weston-Webb. Plenty of waves in this heat. It looked like Tati was off to a good start.
Keep climbing up those rankings. And, coming off the back of Tahiti, I just feel like she's so fired up because she, didn't get the result she wanted, but she's looking really good. And, that Paizel board that is looking really good underneath her feet.
It looks good. It's the ghost, and I think it's a good combo for this wave flick.
Well, speaking of good combo, Caroline Marks on a long right-hand point break. That is going to be awesome all day long. Waves did deteriorate a little bit, but Caroline found some gems out there. And, of course, she did what she does best, and that is just smash the wave all the way down the line.
Yeah, she did a really good job. I think, it was pretty crucial she got that first 6 straight away. I still don't feel like we've seen her best surfing because those conditions were deteriorating. It was really hard to try and find a good wave, but she did well with what she had.
Well, the good news is our semifinals are set for the women, and they're epic. Semifinal 1, Caitlin Simmers versus Gabriela Bryan. That's 2 informed surfers going head-to-head. Semifinal number 2, you're going to have Betty Lucera Johnson going up against Caroline Marks. So many implications in these semifinals for that final 5 picture. Can't wait to see what happens next. And I kind of like that unexpected feeling of you don't know exactly when those semifinals are going to go out, but when they do, boom, fireworks all day long.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I even looked at the first one. I mean, Katie, Gabby, they're just so different, their approaches. I mean, Katie's just so precise, so technical, a little bit more pivoty in the pocket. And then you just got Gabby, who's just absolute sheer power, the most powerful woman on tour, in my opinion, just displacing so much water. So different styles, different approaches. And then, battle of, 2 Groms. Caroline's still a Grom. Groms, Betty Lou, Caroline, and I mean, it's going to be fiery because they're both going to want to advance out of that. There's valuable points on the line. And Katie Simmers now in that yellow jersey.
Ooh. Well, there's a 25% chance that we will have a returning winner out of the semifinals. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Correct my math if I'm wrong. I've never been very good with it. But I will say something. The men's quarterfinals, the math tells me they're going to be awesome. That's algebra. That's a different type of math. But let's take a look at the quarterfinal matchups for the men. These are going to be fun. You got some unfriendly fire in the first quarter 1. Giao Chianca, Gabriel Medina. Look, they're homies on land, but you go into the water, and there are no friends in a jersey. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Jack Robinson versus Yago Dora. That's friendly fire right there. These 2 guys are homies. They travel around the world together, train together. It's going to be a fun heat to watch. Then we got yellow jersey leader John Florence going up against Crosby Colapinto, who went off yesterday. Finally, Battle of South Africans, Matthew McGillivray and Jordy Smith. It's all friends.
How do they always match up, though? I swear, they always match up against Jordy used to surf against Mike February all the time, and now he has to surf against Matt, the only two guys from South Africa on tour. I feel bad for them all the time, Chris.
Well, you know, it's always fun to watch friendly rivalries go out in the water. Sometimes it's almost more fun when they're homies going head-to-head because I think you might even try harder to beat your best friends than you would your rivals. So those are going to be really fun quarterfinals to match up with. And earlier today, we did meet up with another special guest. Mitch, you have an interview with one of our favorites, our technical announcer here on the land. This is Ixa and Mitch.
Hey guys, here with one of our beach announcers from Chile, Ixa Marieta Yambias. Ixa, first of all, congratulations on being invited once back to the Surf City El Salvador Pro presented by Corona. How did you get involved in surfing, especially with beach announcing at this high of a level?
Well, one of my passions always has been communication. So when I fell in love with surfing, I kind of find like that balance between the two things and mix it up by being a beach announcer. So that's how I started my career back in Chile, working on the national events and the ALES, the Latin tour, which kind of like pushed me forward and do a job outside of Chile. And El Salvador is actually now my second home for sure. They've been pushing my career as a speaker, and I found it amazing just to have the opportunity to be in these big events internationally and work out with people that is like the top of this industry, and I love it. I've been having so much fun, learning a lot each event. So it's really humbling to be working with you, like by you, with Mateo, and everyone that is here at the WSL.
And what about the Spanish speakers involved within the event? Brian Perez, Leilani McGonigal, the rankings leader, Brisa Hennessy from Costa Rica. How beautiful is it to celebrate not only their voices, but the rest of Spanish-speaking America too?
I think that is a really important thing to have the stop of the tour in Latin America. Now, Central America, you know, we have really good waves all over South America and Central America. So I think it's really important to bring that together and put us like outside in the world, because we're really talented people in every like different part and facets of of the surfing. So it's really nice and have that exchange of like knowledge, language as well. And I think we're improving every time. Like even talking about Brian, he speaks like really good English now, and that brings like more friendship, and we can travel the world and meet new people from all over, and I think that's amazing for sure.
Ahora en español, Ixa, muchas felicidades de nuevo por ser invitada al evento aquí del Sur City El Salvador Pro presentado por Corona. Obviamente la apreciación por parte de los latinos, pero más la gente que habla español. ¿Cómo celebras estas voces, incluyendo la tuya, al ser invitada de nuevo al evento?
Bueno, estamos siempre tratando de esparcir el amor por el surfing, el amor por las olas, impulsando la comunidad latinoamericana. Personalmente tengo un proyecto que se llama Latinas de Mar, donde tratamos de involucrar muchas más mujeres latinas en el surfing, viajando juntas, explorando distintas olas, distintas rompientes, y la verdad es que eso siento que es algo importante, seguir inspirando a la comunidad latina a que se acerque al mar de una manera profesional, de una manera también por hobby, aprender de esta cultura, y siento que esto es un momento muy importante para inspirar a todas las chicas que podemos relacionarnos en este momento con las mujeres que vienen acá y que son nuestros modelos a seguir, ¿verdad? Y la verdad es que nos sentimos más cerca, un poquito más cerca de esta forma, así que seguir impulsando a todas las mujeres a que se atrevan, a que sigan viviendo esta vida cerca de la playa con esta energía azul que nos mueve, y seguir disfrutando del surfing y ver hasta dónde va a llegar el surfing femenino, que ahora ha ido superando cada vez más barreras, y la verdad es que me tiene eso muy emocionada y inspirada para poder seguir desarrollando este tipo de proyectos. Así que vamos arriba.
Vamos arriba, gracias.
Is an incredible person, a great surfer as well. Her and her counterpart, Mateo Rojas, are an integral part of each and every event. Your technical beach announcers basically give the surfers all the information they need to succeed. And also they give a little bit to the fans here on site, basically how much time's left in the heat, all those things that you need to know in order to really soak up this event. And speaking of soaking up this event, Caroline Marks has been thriving down here in El Salvador for the last three years, and it looks like she's continuing that trajectory. She's on the glass right now with AJ.
Thriving indeed, Chris. And here Caroline is, having won another heat here in El Salvador. We talk about your relationship with this wave, Caroline. How critical was that relationship today against Joanne?
Yeah, that was a huge heat. Obviously, you know, with the rankings and stuff of where they're at, I think, you know, every heat's a big heat. When you look at the end of the year, you're always like, oh, that one score, that one heat. And so I'm super aware of, yeah, how big each heat and each moment is. And I was really excited to surf that heat. And unfortunately, like the wind and the tide got a little funky, but we had some nice sets to start, and I'm just stoked I was like in the rhythm with priority. But yeah, it was a super close heat, and I'm just stoked it went my way.
It's something we talk about when you're keeping an eye on those rankings coming down to the last few events. But for you personally, how do you balance knowing where you are big picture while trying to just break it down to the simplest moments?
Yeah, it's funny. You know, I think it's pretty impossible not to think about the rankings, and obviously that's why we're all here. We're all here to win and make the Final Five and go for the world title, and that's a big goal for me. I want to be at lowers, and I want to, you know, try to defend my world title, and so that's why I'm here. And so, yeah, I'm definitely paying attention, but at the same time, you know, a lot of it's out of your control, and all you can control is your own path. So I just know kind of focus on myself and just do the best surfing I can, and hopefully that just translates into good results.
If you had to pick one thing you wanted to control in this semifinal, what's it going to be?
Oh, just good waves. Yeah, good waves. Lots of opportunity.
Okay, there you go. Lots of opportunity. We'll see you in the next one, Caroline.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, AJ. Love to hear a fired up Caroline Marks, not only trying to defend here, but also defend her championship title, which is going to be a really fun end of the season to watch. 3 more events from here on out, and then it's the Final 5 at lower trestles. We're going to go on a brief pause, but check back in here, 10:45 El Salvadorian time. We're going to make that call. Stay on WorldSurfLeague.com because we'll have some entertainment for you. We'll see you in a bit.